Rebbe Nachman told stories because he told his students they weren't absorbing his Torahs the way he had hoped they would transform them. So he started telling stories. One of the most famous stories is the story of the 7 beggars. And it opens about a king who had a son. The king wanted to give his son the kingdom while he was still alive. What greater joy could there be for the king to give over the kingdom while he was still alive to his son, the prince? Of course, he had to find out, was the prince worthy of becoming the king? So he devised a test. The king's test was that he would take away the son's kingship, and then he would see if the son was still happy when his kingship was taken away. Then he would be truly worthy of being king, and the king would be very happy. And if the son was not happy when his kingship was taken away, then the king would see that his son wasn't really worthy of being king, and he would still be happy because he'd found out the truth, even though it was about his own son. So this setup for the story of the 7 beggars, this kingship that was given to the son, or a promise to the son, and then taken away, of course, this is really our consciousness, our higher consciousness, and how sometimes it comes to us and sometimes it's taken away. Sometimes we have a moment of insight, and sometimes we feel in complete, utter darkness. But what is this teaching us today in the complex world we live in, with all the contradictions and opposing forces that are pulling on us? The focus the Rebbe is teaching us is that joy is the measure of the prince to see if he's worthy of being a king. So if you're at joy in your lower self, the prince level, then you're worthy of being the king, and then you merit to the upper joy. And if you're only happy when you're on top, well, nobody's always on top. So the guy who has to be on top to be happy, the minute he loses his place, his joy is gone. That person is not yet ready to be king. So this idea of kingship, this idea of malchut, is really the ability to summon joy. Now, you say, okay, so how do I summon joy? It's easy to talk about. So there are many advices that Rebbe Nachman gives for joy. He gives us the standard advice that we can always be happy that we're Jews and we're not from other nations that don't have the Torah. He tells us we can make ourselves happy and joyous through silly things. Mili d'shtuta. But I think the highest joy is the joy that has no reason at all. And he describes this as doing a mitzvah for the sake of doing a mitzvah, without any hope of reward. Now, the connection between joy and doing a mitzvah is that joy and ratzon, will, are from the same sphera in the Kabbalah, the realm called Keter, which corresponds to the transcendent intellects that have yet to become part of our active consciousness. So joy is from above ourselves, and so is will, desire. Okay. So when we're feeling dark and we're feeling down and we're feeling confused and we're feeling lost, there's a lot of ways you can tackle your problems. You can tackle the problems, or you can look behind the problems and see what is the uniting thread behind all my different problems in life. And I see at the root of everything is I'm not happy. Now, most people say, well, of course you're not happy. You don't have what you want. But Rebbe Nachman teaches us, no, we got it all wrong. Happiness comes first. Happiness of being. Happiness of presence. Happiness of being a Jew. Of being a religious Jew. Of being in Eretz Israel. Of having any awareness at all of the greatness of our tradition. That happiness precipitates all the other good things that can come to us.